What's up, world? It's your girl, Kami Tati, and I hope you all are being safe, smart, and healthy as the whole world deals with this daggone coronavirus. And let me tell you, it's been really interesting being on this side of the world dealing with it, and then watching my home country, America, deal with it, because it is so different and so interesting to me. Especially like I've been seeing people on Twitter with their memes like, you know, day 4 of quarantine, I ate all my quarantine snacks, and I'm thinking, I'm on week 4, not day 4, week 4 of being off of work and doing this social distancing. And so all I can say is y'all need to put your seatbelt on and get ready for this ride, because it's something else. It's something like I've never seen before in my time. But for here in Korea, like, the way we got woke was essentially there was this lady who wasn't feeling good, went to the doctor wanted to test her. She said no thank you, then went on about her business, and her business ended up being infected an entire church of like over 100,000 members. And then there was like a hospital kind of near to the same area in Daegu, like that they got infected, and it spread like wildfire in the hospital. So even to this day, I can say maybe like 65% at least, at minimum, of the cases are all linked to that church and that hospital in those areas. But when that happened, like, the country, I feel like, just sprang into the correct action, right? They postponed opening schools. They started doing mass testing and like with drive-throughs, and like they just cared, I feel like, about the people and trying their best to contain it. And even here, like the first 2 weeks, we kept getting emergency alerts, and these alerts were telling us every time there was a confirmed case in Daejeon. And a few of them were telling us where the person had been in like a few number of days. So I can see that some patient had gone to like many clothing stores, and then the restaurant they went to, what subway station they went on, the karaoke rooms they went to, all this stuff. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I need to definitely stay myself at home, because if this woman or man is out here just passing their droplets everywhere, I'm not trying to pick it up. I'm good. Stay away from me. Especially because I have never had the thought process of like, oh, well, I'm young and healthy, so I ain't gonna die, so I'm gonna keep living this life the way I want. No, I feel like if for whatever reason I somehow get it and I go back to work and school and I pass it to the kids, and the kids take it to their parents and they see their grandparents, and then they get sick, like that ripple effect, I couldn't forgive myself for. Then add on, if somehow, you know, my school ended up being the new epicenter for an outbreak, I'm out of a job, my coworkers are out of a job, the business is done. And that's not the move. No. So I have always felt like, to me, this is a situation where it's definitely better to be safe than sorry. And it's so interesting also thinking, you know, people just knew, right, like not to go out, not to gather in crowds. And we didn't have to do like a city lockdown, right? The government didn't have to say, okay, restaurants, bars, clubs, you can't be open, right? People just knew better. So like seeing how different cities in America are having to impose these restrictions to force people to do better for the community, it's crazy. And then let me add on to this, that when this thing started, the hot commodity in these Korean streets were masks, okay? Not toilet paper, all right? I still have people asking me, what's with all the Americans fighting over toilet paper? Like, I've been seeing it on the news. Like, can you imagine? I've been trying to figure out how to explain it. Like, and if you got an answer, let me know, because I don't know what to say. But here, I mean, masks are already used like normally, and for people use it for different reasons. Because maybe the air quality isn't good, and often they use it when they are sick so that they don't spread their germs when they're in public. So it made sense that people were going to want masks. And it got to a point there was a shortage, and the government had to come up with like a rationing process. And I think it was kind of like depending on the month you were born, like, you know, March, June, and December, like you could go to a specific pharmacy and get like 2 masks only on Monday. But then people born in, you know, November, August, whatever, they could go on Wednesday. So that was the height of the crazy, in my opinion. So one question that I've been getting a lot, considering that I have been out of work for almost 4 weeks now, is am I going to get paid? And it's honestly a great question. So essentially my academy said we can't make up the classes. I mean, it's 20 days worth, and we working Saturdays and Sundays for the next few months would just be like a dread. So they can't pay us for that time we didn't teach. So instead of just not paying us at all in the next month, they're just going to reduce our pay for the next few months, which to me is a fair trade-off. And they also are letting us keep our summer vacation, which to me was what I was honestly more worried about, because my one thing I wanted moving here was to get vacation time and not have to work weekends. And these 4 weeks have not been vacation time. I have not been able to travel. So the fact that they're not just going to say, okay, you don't get paid at all, and that I can still have the time off in the future, I think it's the best case scenario in a terrible situation. And I feel grateful for my academy for really looking out for its employees and doing the best it can, considering we are a business and not a public school. So all I can say, America, y'all just need to put on your seatbelt, strap in, because it's a journey. Like I said, I'm on week 4 of not working, and even though I completely understand it and I've honestly been dealing with it well, it does have its moments. So I have my recommendations on what I think you can do to pass your time. So a question I've been getting a lot of because of my experience in being in quarantine is, what have I been doing to pass the time? And honestly, I feel like what I've been doing is probably similar to what you will or have been doing at this point, which is obviously streaming stuff, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, the works. On my phone, obviously Twitter is basically my news, don't judge me for that. And I started, like, I went back to my iPad and like played old games that were on there and downloaded new games. I started reading more. I finished a book that I had bought for my airplane ride back to America, and then I went and just recently bought another book, and I haven't bought books in years, honestly. But just doing like the same things, which is different times a day, trying to keep it as fresh as I can. But eventually I felt like I was just going through the motions, and I had to figure out a way to be a bit more productive with my time. But I did it. So, you know, the first few days, you know, it's kind of fun. You're just living, doing what you would normally do if you weren't working and you decide to stay home on the weekend, whatever, right? But then you definitely do get to a point where you're just like, you wake up and you're like, what am I gonna do today? Like, you feel like you're just passing time. So my suggestion, what I did, was I thought about the things that I made excuses not to do, right? Whether that was I didn't have time to do it, or I felt too tired to do it, or I was just, you know, too busy, you know, whatever. And for you, that can be anything, right? It can be that you've been wanting to create something, you know, music, art, videos, whatever. Maybe you've been wanting to learn something, right? You wanted to learn a new skill, you want to learn how to do something, or you want to learn how to be better at something, whatever. Or maybe it's a hobby, right? You love reading, you love making puzzles, you love sewing, right? There's a lot of things that, you know, we want for our soul, but because we're working and we commit ourselves to other things, we don't have as much time to do. So in this situation, think about those things and bring them forward, okay? And make the time to do it. And for me, the two things I focused on was, one, working out more, and studying Korean more. I was always making excuses to, not because I didn't want to do it, because in my mind, I really convinced myself that, you know, other things were of a higher priority. But then I'm in my house all the time and I'm thinking, okay, well, if I don't do it now, then it must not be that important to me because I have all the time in the world now. And that's not how I feel about those things, right? I want to be healthier and I want to get my summer body right. And I want to continue to learn Korean because I love seeing how much my knowledge has grown over some time. So I don't want to give up on those things. So I've found a way to make sure that I do them, you know, and maybe it's not every day, but if I'm home 7 days out of the week, I'm going to do it more than once a week. Okay. So that's my encouragement for you. Because it also makes you feel good. It gives you a sense of purpose. What I've thought about in this time is, you think we all work, most of us, right? And we work to make money. And that money goes to bills, whatever. But that money also goes to giving us experiences. It allows us to, you know, go to that new restaurant and try new food, or go to that same restaurant you love and get your favorite meal. It allows us to travel, you know, do activities with our friends, bowling, movies, whatever, right? And right now, we can't do those things safely, right? We really shouldn't be going out at restaurants, bars. We shouldn't be traveling, and we really shouldn't be with, you know, our friends. We shouldn't be having a lot of social activities. And that can be hard because then you really feel like you're just looking at time, you're looking at the calendar, and you're like, you're just passing time. You don't feel like you're living life. And that can be a frustrating thought. So I feel like having certain goals that you can focus on, that will give you a sense of fulfillment and will help improve you in your mind and in your life, then you feel like you are doing something, that you're accomplishing something each day. And maybe, you know, if you commit yourself strong enough, then you can make it a part of your normal routine once things can get back to normal. So it's, I think, a positive way to do it. And it's not to say that, you know, you won't get bored and there'll be times where you still don't want to do it. All that stuff is natural. But take this time to really push yourself to be a better version of yourself. You literally have all day. So carve out that time and you'll feel even more accomplished that you did that when you could have just laid around, which I'm saying there's something wrong with laying around. So do you. Yeah, so good luck. I mean, it's not easy, and we're really living in a crazy time right now. And, you know, luckily we have a lot of access to information and things, and, you know, it could have been harder, like if we didn't have the internet or something, I don't know. But, yeah, but just be safe and, you know, think about others, and be healthy. And thanks for watching, as always. And I'll see you in the future. Remember, right now, the importance is to be alive. And for our family and our friends and their family and their friends, to be alive, so we can continue to make these experiences, so we can look at the time and see that we enjoyed life. So that's the end of my preaching. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Annyeong!